came here on August 25th to protest the military occupation of D.C., the National Guard presence in D.C., and anywhere else in the country, and we vowed to maintain a 24/7 presence here until the military left. So we're here in front of the Veterans Tent at Union Station. This is day, I believe, 18, and a guest came by asking a bunch of questions. I said, let's answer them live. Katie Phang, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
You're more comfortable with that than me, so what are your questions?
Well, I want to know, what is the Vet Tent?
So we came here on August 25th to protest the military occupation of D.C., the National Guard presence in D.C., and anywhere else in the country, and we vowed to maintain a 24/7 presence here until the military left.
Okay, but I'm standing here. It's a beautiful Saturday in front of Union Station. I'm not feeling at risk. I don't see anything going on, but I especially don't see the National Guard. Where the hell's the National Guard?
Great question, Katie. When we first got here, there was Humvees parked there,
I saw.
parked there, Humvees parked
I
there.
saw. It was wild.
We came out on our bullhorns and we just talked all day long, and I think they got tired of hearing us. Day 2, we were here, no Humvees. About 4 or 5 days later, they brought the MRAPs out right there, and then we played General Milley's speech on repeat for about 10 hours each day.
So not only did they take you from your family and put you here at Union Station with your vehicles on a walkway, trip back down, top blocks out, with no mission. Not only are they using you for political theater, not only do they have you wear your body armor with no plates in it because it's all showmanship, they did not even have the courtesy of letting you stay for 30 days.
MRAPs went away. We were passing out these little cards that said, remember your oaths.
Wait, I'm going to stop you for a second. For the people that are tuning in and don't know what an MRAP is, let them know what that is.
It's the big, giant armored vehicle. It's the one that's mine-resistant, ambush protected. Because
Again, in front of Union Station, because we needed that, but go on.
Because there's mines everywhere and ambushes, right?
Well, I think the American democracy's been ambushed, but yeah, go on.
Agreed. And that was our message, actually. Like, these are war-fighting vehicles. You guys are war fighters. This is not a war zone. You're being used for political theater. I'll tell you something interesting. I made a video. I haven't released it yet, so breaking news with Katie Phang.
There you go. I'm good for something.
There was a document the National Guard accidentally released to the Washington Post, which I'm having trouble believing it was by accident. I think somebody did it on purpose and called it an accident. But it was internal.
We love those are the best kind of people,
Yes.
by the way. The accidental accidents.
The
Okay.
accidental leakers. So it was an internal document that literally stated that the Guard soldiers here in D.C. were feeling shameful about it, and it was actually talking about the veterans out here speaking out about it, and also it talks about how they acknowledge that the local population doesn't like the presence of the Guard, and they even acknowledge that the Guard's presence here undermines public confidence in the military.
There's no National Guard presence outside of Union Station. They're hiding out. There's no added value from them. And at this point, we're paying for this.
Yes, a lot of money. And they're downtown. You'll see them downtown at peak.
Picking up the
restaurant
trash?
You'll see them picking up a lot of trash. I got a lot of videos of that. And at peak restaurant hours, they'll be in the restaurant district where everybody can see them. But it's important that everybody understands they don't have any law enforcement authority.
Well, they're not supposed to.
Correct. So I even asked them, if you saw somebody getting mugged over there, what could you do? They were like, we could break it up and hold them until the police got here. Can I do that as a civilian?
You can, absolutely.
Correct, and that's what they said too. So I said, you have no authority. They're just telling you that to make you feel good. You're being used as political theater.
Because it's all showmanship.
And these are the conversations we're having with the Guards. And if you see on our tent right here, the service members do not comply, 877-447-4487. That's a GI rights hotline. If you feel like that you're part of a mission, a deployment, or any orders that are unlawful or unethical, you can call that number and get some legal advice.
That's amazing. Okay, let's read that GI rights hotline number again so that people who are getting this information out, they understand that they can call. What's that number?
Super easy to remember, 877-447-4487.
So let's also, I wanted to get your take on this because I want to talk about how people are reacting to this. You know, these DC grand juries, they're not returning true bills. They're not indicting people that are getting arrested during this federal occupation of Washington, D.C. I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I'll give you an example. This is something we all saw in person. There was a guy up here in Columbus Circle who was alleged to have written with sidewalk chalk on the lamppost that washes away with water. This is not an exaggeration. I have it on video. The Metro PD, the Capitol Police, the Park Police, the Amtrak Police, and the National Guard all responded to this incident.
To the sidewalk chalk guy.
Over 120 people filled this entire area. It was on lockdown, and they arrested 2 people for sidewalk chop.
Overkill much?
And this is why these charges are getting tossed out. This is why these grand juries are not returning charges, because they're just drumming up arrest numbers.
To try to justify that it makes sense to bring them in there. And they also are using it to justify trying to bring the National Guard into other cities. Like right now, they're thinking about bringing them into Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, so we were planning to go to Chicago. We were planning to put up one of these veteran rally points in Chicago because they were going to Chicago, but Governor Pritzker, shout out to him, stood his ground.
He did.
And they're not going to Chicago anymore, but now they're saying they're going to Memphis, which of course we know the Tennessee governor's not going to stop them.
Exactly.
So it looks like we'll have to stand up a veterans rally point in Memphis, and anywhere else the DC Guard goes, we're going to take the lessons we learned here and we're going to make this a nationwide thing where we protest this military occupation of our streets.
So if people are interested in giving some support to what y'all are doing, because this is pretty impressive, you guys have made a dedicated decision to come out here and be here 24/7. If people want to help, what can they do?
RememberYourOath.org. We got a lot of links there. You can register to join us, register to volunteer. We got a newsletter that's going out to update you what we're doing. We got photos of what we're doing, like a photo gallery. I had a donation link, but I'm going to be honest, we got so many donations, I turned it off, which is a good problem to have. But I just don't want more money than what we can actually use. When there's so many donations, so many great organizations out there that can use donations.
What about places like in Memphis? If vets or maybe people that want to support what you guys are doing in your mission want to go and they want to volunteer to staff, et cetera, can they do that? Can they go to that website and figure that stuff out?
100%. Just go to the register, give us your information, let us know in the notes that you're interested in standing up with us in Memphis. We're looking for people in Memphis on the ground. We never want to step on the local community. We want to work with the local community. So we want to work with vets in Memphis, take the lessons learned here, give you some money from the GoFundMe, give you some resources that we already have, and help you get started there in Memphis.
Charlie, I want to ask you a personal question. You've always been a voice for all sorts of issues. Big supporter for all the different issues. I got some crazy shit going on behind us. But I don't see the National Guard coming over and taking these kids out, right?
Spree.
Look at the crime spree of kids on motorized something.
Dirt bikes.
What? I'm too old to know what the hell that is. So I want to ask you a question. You've been a voice for so many different issues, for so many different communities. You're a real ally. But this has got to be something that's got to be near and dear to your heart, that offends to the core, this idea of militarizing just our cities, to bring in the military to intimidate our fellow citizens, because I think they're doing it so that we become almost numb for next year when they bring the military in, when we're standing in line to go and vote.
When I realized how emotionally I was affected by it was August 16th. I was invited to a rally to speak at the rally, and it was a anti-Trump, Trump must go now rally. And after we spoke, everybody marched from DuPont Circle to the White House. And on the way there was a National Guard vehicle and some troops standing around it. And a lot of the protesters stopped and they were shouting down the troops, "Get out of our city, leave now." And I very much understand the raw emotion of those DC residents saying, "Leave now."
Yeah.
But seeing the troops being yelled at literally
That
left
hurt,
a lump
right?
in my throat.
Yeah.
Like, it did not feel good. And I was like, what do I do? So I tried to get between the troops and the protesters saying, guys, it's not their fault. Like, they didn't ask to be here. People don't understand the military. It's really convoluted how you can say no. It's not as easy to say no as people think it is. Because if I tell you, go stand on that corner, is that an unlawful order?
You got to go stand on the corner.
Right, and you can't say that's an unlawful order. Or can you? And that's why we have the GI rights hotline, so you can figure out when you can say no. So these troops are in a really bad spot. It's not their fault. And also just seeing, the public's confidence in the military degrade. You're going to see enlistment go down. You're going to see retention go down. You're going to see recruitment efforts fail because people are not going to want to join the military. That's a national security issue if you believe that the military is a national security function. So yeah, this is near and dear to my heart. And it was after that I realized, man, we as veterans have to do something.
Well, you also have a sham Secretary of Defense too, so that doesn't help things either.
Secretary of War.
Oh yeah, my bad.
The president.
Actually, your thoughts on that? The actual changing of a name of the Department of Defense is now the Department of War.
It's embarrassing. Yes, we are war fighters, and the Soldier's Creed, United States Army says we stand ready to deploy, engage, and defeat the enemies of the United States. But that is all for the purposes of peace. We're supposed to be a defensive unit, defend the homeland, defend America. That's why it's the Department of Defense. naming us the Department of War, I guess it's more in line with our colonial imperialistic reality of America, but it's also drawing us further away from peace.
Folks, if you are in D.C., I'm hijacking this for a second. If you are in D.C., come and show your support at the Vet Tent. We are in front of Union Station. They're here 24/7. Let them know what you think. Let them know how you support. And 877-447-4487 is the GI Rights Hotline. And what's the website again to give some more support?
RememberYourOath.org.
RememberYourOath.org. My friend, I'm going to hand this back over to you.
Thank you, Katie Phang, for joining us, and you're welcome to join us here and in Memphis coming soon.